July 2nd, 2024. I'd like to call our regular session council meeting to order. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Here.
Pugh,
Here.
McBride,
Here.
Livingston,
Here.
Teratio, Weaver, Barron,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Mackey,
Here.
English,
Present.
Newton.
Here.
Chair Mackey, I do want to make a note that Councilman Weaver is online.
Okay, hopefully we'll hear him next time. Next item on the agenda is the invocation. Councilwoman Teratio, you're recognized.
Thank for this evening. I want to invite us to gratitude for the time that we have together, that we are safe, that we are secure, that we are surrounded by our friends and our colleagues near and far, past and future. That we are loved, we are in a community that welcomes us, regardless of who we are born to, where we went to school, how much money is in our bank account, who we voted for, who we love, or to whom we pray. May we remember that there are many places, some that may not be at all far from here, where any one of us may not be welcome for any one of those things. May we remember that our purpose here is to work collectively to improve the lives of the people of this county within the responsibilities that we have been given together. Thank you all so much for being here. If you will rise for the pledge.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from regular session June 18th, 2024, and our zoning public hearing June 25th, 2024.
Second.
A motion and a second for approvals of items 4A and B. Ms. Barron, was that? Yes. All right, any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes?
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes?
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next, adoption of the agenda. Attorney Wright, do we have any additions or deletions?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Thompson?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
For the adoption.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes?
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next, item 6, report of the attorney for executive session. Attorney Wright, you're recognized.
Yes, Madam Chair, there are 6 items for executive session. There's 6A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Animals and Fowl. That's pursuant to Code Section 30-4-70, subsection A2. B, condemnation of TMS R 12600-02-01 pursuant to 30-4-70 A2. C, condemnation TMS R 12700-01-21, also pursuant to 30-4-70 A2. D, condemnation of TMS R 15100 30-10-01, also 30-4-70A2. E, legal advice, Project Connect, pursuant to 30-4-70A2 and 5. F, legal advice, Word of God Developments Corporation, pursuant to 30-4-70A2.
Thank you. Do any of these require outside counsel?
Yes, B, C, D, and E have outside counsel. A does not have outside counsel, but it is on for public hearing as well as second reading prior to the second executive session.
Thank you. So you said A does not require, but it is further on our agenda tonight. And then B, C, D, and E require outside counsel. Is that correct? All right. Based upon our rules, we would go into executive session now for items that do require outside counsel. I'll entertain a
Madam
mo-
Chair,
Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
move to go into executive session for items 6A through E.
Second.
A motion and second, any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes?
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We're now in executive session. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Well, move to come out of executive session.
Thank you. Will you second that for me? Second. All right. The motion is second to come out of executive session. Madam Clerk?
Brenham. Pugh.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver. Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Please let the record show that no action was taken during executive session for items 6A through E.
Madam Chair, reference items 6B, C, and D. I move that we authorize the county attorney to proceed with the condemnations as discussed in executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Brenham.
Yes.
Pugh.
No.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver. Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item is item 7, citizens' input for items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. Vice Chair Pugh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 4 people signed up to speak. When I call your name, if you could approach the podium and state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak. First, we have Miss Ann Dawson, and if I butcher your name, I apologize in advance. Ann Dawson. Ms. Dawson, if you can approach the podium, please state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak, ma'am.
Thank you. Ann Dawson, 1136 Statler Road, Columbia, 29210. And I was interested especially in the article to the editor on, I think it was June the 16th of the state paper, about the instant runoff voting and how they recommended, as some of the other states have done, to, when you go to the primaries, vote for your first choice and then vote for your second choice. And that way you would not have to have a runoff. And I understand that this is also done for those that are out of the country, that the citizens here vote like that. I think it's a wonderful idea. It would save a bunch of money. I've been a poll worker for a number of years, and I know how many people it takes, and that would be for the whole state. And I think it would be a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. Next, we have, I think this is Mary King. Ms. King, if you can approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak, ma'am. Marie King.
My name is Marie King. My address is 1660 Highway 601 South, Lugoff, South Carolina, 29078. I'm here on behalf of my son, Michael Anthony Smith, Jr. He's at the Everglades Detention Center. I haven't seen my son in over a year. And the last time I seen my son, he was walking. Now, he's coming out now. I mean, and the next thing I know, he's not walking. I have answers. I mean, the system at Everglades has been broken. I don't understand why I'm not able to get the questions answered of what happened to my son. For one, he got mental health issues. Why in the world would he be locked up with someone aggressive? he cannot speak for himself. I mean, he could tell you, yeah, all day long, but he's not mentally able to really talk to you like a normal person. And I just got so many questions that need to be answered about my child. I'm still waiting on them answers. I just pray that y'all investigate it and get them answers for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, Madam Chair, we have Angela Branham. Ma'am, could you approach the podium? Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Angela Brennan. I live at 1100 Weegene Drive, Columbia, South Carolina, 29203. I'm also coming up here to talk about my son, Deshaun King, at Alvarez Glen. I have not had a video visit. I have not get a chance to visit him. He's in lockup. He's been in lockup for over 45 days. He also told me that COs have been bullying him, and he haven't had phone calls. Like, I haven't heard from him in like 3 weeks. And it's like every 3 weeks I would hear from him on a Tuesday or on a Thursday. They would cut his time on the phone for 5 minutes. And it's not enough time to talk to my son, within 5 minutes. He's have been telling me, a lot of things that's been going on. He's been asking for medical because his teeth, his 2 front teeth is missing, and he's been in pain. They won't give him no pain medicine. They keep saying that he has to put in a medical work or something, and I would call down there and say, hey, my son has been, putting in medical work. Well, ma'am, it's nothing that we can do. He has to do it. You can't do it. I mean, it's attitudes, from these people. And it's sad because, my son been down there and he's only been there for 2 years. It's just that he needs answers just as well as I need answers. And, they put him on medication for a seizure. He never had seizures. So he been not eating because of the medication and things of that nature. I can go on, but I just wanted to let you guys know, my concerns for my son. And I hope you guys find the answer as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Branham. Next, Madam Chair, we have Mr. Stuart Andrews. Mr. Andrews, could you approach the podium? Please state your name and your address for the record, and you have 2 minutes to speak, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Stuart Andrews. I live at 120 Middlefield Lane in Blythewood. Thank you for allowing me and my friends to speak this evening. We've actually spent about 35, 40 minutes talking with the press beforehand, because for too long, I and the folks I work with have been getting calls from moms and dads and grandmas and brothers and sisters about their loved ones at the county jail. I wanted to say there are a number of people here tonight who care about what you're doing and about your responsibility to manage this jail. And let's ask people to stand up to show your support for your loved ones who are back there and what's going on with them. There are a lot of things that are clear, and there are other things that aren't clear about the jail. One is that it reflects a broken part of a broken system. And I know all of you are the first to know that the mental health system in this country, in this state, and in this community is broken, and you can't control the people who are booked at your jail. And so we recognize that. Why the lawsuit that I and my partners have filed, though, is against the county and not against the state or the Department of Mental Health or other private providers who don't carry their load, is because what sets you apart is that you've got a constitutional obligation, that, like the Department of Corrections does, that no one else has. And consequently, that sets you apart. And when you take someone's freedom, you have to provide all of the health care, the medical care that they need. And the over 600 people at the county jail who the contractor said are in need of mental health care are not getting an opportunity to have that full range of care. Secondly, I want to say this, that you may, I don't believe you have
Mr. Andrews, that's
any
your time,
idea.
sir. That's your time, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pugh.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for, we're going, just a final note.
That
Next
concludes
week,
your time, sir.
we'll be
Thank you.
filing a lawsuit and hope you all read it and take
Mr.
personal
Andrews,
interest
that
in it.
concludes your time, sir. Next is item 8, citizens' input must pertain to Richland County matters not on the agenda. Items for which a public hearing is required or a public hearing has been scheduled cannot be addressed at this time. Vice Chair Pugh, do we have anyone sign up this evening?
No one signed up to speak for that item, ma'am.
Thank you. Next, item 9, report of the county administrator. Dr. Thompson?
There's nothing to report at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item 10, report of the clerk of council. Madam Clerk?
Nothing to report at this time, Chair Maki, thank you.
Thank you. Next is item 11, report of the chair. Item 11A is a transportation improvement public hearing scheduled for July 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I wanted to take this time to publicly remind all of our constituents in Richland County about our public hearing that's coming up on July 9th. For those of you that have been following along, we have had a very extensive public engagement process that began at the beginning of this year to go out in the community, get feedback for this proposed transportation penny. And we are now at a point where we're having a public hearing, and we would like as many folks as possible to come out and give us your feedback on July 9th right here in council chambers. That special public hearing, we will have nothing else on the agenda but the public hearing to allow time to hear from as many folks that show up. If you're not able to come in public, please email your comments to the clerk by Monday, July 8th at 5 p.m. And those comments will be received by all council members before we have our third and final reading on July 16th on the proposed transportation penny. All this information can be found on the county's website. So please, if you are listening here or if you're here today, make sure to share this information with your neighbors and coworkers and make sure they give us their feedback. Next is item 12, open and close public hearing. 12A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Animals and Fowl. Vice Chair Pugh?
Madam Chair, no one signed up to speak for that item.
Thank you. This public hearing is now open.
No one signed up to speak for this item.
Thank you. This public hearing is now closed. Next, item 13, approval of consent items.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
move to approve items 13A through G.
Second.
Well, I'm not done. And 13J through L.
Second.
A motion to approve items 13A through G as in giraffe,
Yes?
and then L.
No, then
No.
items J as in Juliet.
Thank you.
Through L like Lima.
Got it. A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes?
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.
All right, so now we are at 13H.
Madam Chair,
You're recognized.
in speaking with staff earlier, it was my understanding there was a scrivener's error in the land manual revision update that was provided to council in their packet. And so I'd ask if we could recognize County Engineer Sharani Fuller to come down and describe that for us.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Council, and thank you for this opportunity to correct what was a scribe error that we found after their packet was delivered. If you will go to page 184 of your packet, This error concerns sidewalks. So you'll see that as one of the headings on that page. It is actually the very first sentence that says sidewalks shall be constructed on both sides of the road. We had a staff augmentation assisting us with going through this, and the error came up that in the ordinance itself for Chapter 26, there is some prescribed areas where sidewalks are required on both sides of the road. So special districts, and then some planned development communities. The ordinance itself does say sidewalks on both sides of the road. So for most of the development that you're going to see right now, that statement is incorrect and needs to be corrected to sidewalks on one side of the road.
Thank you. Any questions?
Madam Chair.
You recognize.
If there are no other questions, I would be happy to make a motion to adopt the manual with the requested revision as described by Engineer Fuller.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 13I. Department of Public Works Solid Waste Drop-Off Center Hours of Operation.
Madam Chair.
Recognize.
Thank you. I just wanted to call this item out because our staff is proposing, and what we would adopt here are modifying the hours of operation for the drop-off center. For any members of the public who may be watching, just want to point out that at least in the Lower Richland community, we had 2 public community meetings where we discussed this. And also just to point out that we understand that a lot of changes have happened at the drop-off center, and that we have the full commitment of our staff that even if we approve this tonight, before any changes are made, that there's going to be a full, robust public information campaign, making sure that the community is aware well in advance of making any changes. I just didn't want anybody to see this on the agenda and think that all of a sudden things were going to be changed tomorrow, or they weren't going to receive any notification. So I don't know if our staff has anything else that they would like to add, but I just wanted to make those comments on the record.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if you'll recognize the Public Works Director, Michael Maloney, please.
Director Maloney, you recognize.
We understand that just putting things out at the site that gets about 100 visitors per day wouldn't be adequate for the people that don't come frequently, so that we would have to do things with, more outreach to the public. We have social media and other things, and a lot of people don't, aren't necessarily watching that. So anytime we have a upcoming public meeting, whether it's in District 10 or 11, I think we'll make sure we have information there and flyers, even if it's, about something else, so that they have that information as a takeaway at those meetings as well. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to approve item 13I.
Second.
A motion and a second.
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
You recognize.
Move to approve items 13M through O. That's M as in Mike through O like Oscar.
Second.
Motion and a second for items 13M through O. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I just pulled these items out in case, I know that our staff is doing some really amazing things and getting funding out to the community through these grants. And so I didn't know if anyone had questions to that or if there was any staff that wanted to speak to it, but just in case there were, wanted to give them that opportunity.
Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Any of those items need to be reconsidered?
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, Madam Chair. I believe that, I think all of the items would be final, so
Move to reconsider.
Not A through D.
you're right.
Or, yeah, you're right, because all those are first readings.
First
So you're looking at H through O.
So
Right.
moved.
Well, Mr. Barron just moved second.
One more question.
Hold on. Ms. Barron, your motion was for H through O? Okay. The motion and the second. Councilman Newton, you're recognized.
Just curious, while we're talking about reconsideration, does the motion that came out of executive session need to also be reconsidered?
Regarding the condemnations,
Correct.
right now, it's not any, the financial part will come later, so it
Okay.
doesn't necessarily have to be.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
Pugh, McBride,
No.
Livingston, Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Walker,
No.
Mackey, English, Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Next, item 14, second reading items. 14A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, animals and fowl.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
You're recognized.
Just want to say thanks to staff and legal for listening and recognizing what the spirit of this needed to be, recognizing that what is actually happening needs to be reflected in our ordinance and to clarify the role of the folks in the community who are providing a service. So thank you all.
Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 14B, authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and incentive agreement by and between Richland County, South Carolina and Project Commodore to provide for payment of a fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits and other related matters.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is item 15, report of the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee. Councilman Walker, you recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item, pertains to the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee, also known as TPAC, but it relates to their recommendations. Initially, they recommended, an allocation with respect to the proposed penny sales tax, and that allocation was 50% for community investment, 30% for county advancement, and 20% for the comment. Those recommendations were taken up by the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee on June the 18th, 2024. However, those recommendations are, I guess, somewhat moot at this point because the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee met today on July the 2nd, and the committee has come up with slight change in the recommendations. And so today's recommendations actually supersede the recommendations that were entertained by the committee or considered by the committee back on June the 18th. And so the recommendation of the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee, as far as the allocation for the proposed penny, would be 48% for community investment, 30% for county advancement, and 22% for the comment. That is the recommendation of the committee, Madam Chair.
Heard the recommendation of the committee. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair, that concludes the report of the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee.
Next, item 16, report of the Strategic Planning Ad Hoc Committee. The Strategic Planning Ad Hoc Committee met several weeks ago and discussed item 16A, a strategic plan performance measures. An update for all council members and the public. The strategic planning dashboard is live on the county's website, and it does track all of our strategic plans as their goals and initiatives and provides complete transparency to the public on where we are on each goal. So that is live. That is a key goal that we have met as a body and are excited to share that with the public. Update on the website, 16B. The redesign of the county's website was also a goal in our current strategic plan. The RFP was put out earlier in the year. That closed on the end of May, and we received a record number of responses at 36 responses, which is nearly double the response that we've received in the past related to website redesign. Staff is very excited about the wonderful responses they've received. They have now narrowed those down to 6 vendors, and then we'll work with them to further evaluate with a goal of selecting within the next 30 days to begin work on a new website. Item 16B, the Public-Private Partnership Roadmap. The Strategic Planning Committee met and reviewed a roadmap moving forward for the public-private partnership. There was also a work session held earlier today where the full body reviewed that roadmap and discussed what a public-private partnership could look like moving forward. All council members are invited to provide any feedback from that roadmap and continue to participate and engage in the process moving forward. No action was taken during the meeting, but this is an update to make sure all of our colleagues are informed on what's happening in Strategic Planning Ad Hoc Committee. That concludes my. Next is item 17, other items.
Madam Chair,
You're recognized.
move to approve items 17A through D.
Motion and second, any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron, Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair, second. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
No.
McBride,
No.
Livingston, no. Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron, no. Walker, no. Mackey,
No?
English, Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Next is item 18, executive session. If you go back to the beginning of our agenda, item 6F, legal advice, Word of God Development Corporation, is our executive session item that would take place under item 18. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, McBride,
Yes.
Livingston. Livingston. Yes. Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey, English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Now in executive session. A motion and second to come out of executive session. Madam Clerk?
Brenham. McBride. Livingston. Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver. Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes?
English. Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.
Thank you. We went into executive session to discuss item 6F. No action was taken. Item 19, motion period. We have a motion presented by Councilman Branham and Councilwoman Newton. I move that County Council direct the county administrator to research and provide to council, 1, ways to secure title to subdivision roads that were developed but never had ownership transferred to the county, and 2, to recommend changes to county ordinances and our protocols to better assure that future development of subdivision roads includes conveyance of title to the county, unless there is an understanding between the developer and the county that the subdivision roads will intentionally remain privately owned and maintained. I'll send this motion to the DNS committee. Next is item 20. Where are you at? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add my name to that. Please.
Great. Thank you. Item 20.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second for adjournment. Madam Clerk?
Brenham.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston. Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver. Barron. Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.